There they go into the back. The blue line on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider, Seals to Sam, comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen is 4 deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more. And the West Australian champion has done it again.
Hello and welcome to Talking Trots, and what a big week we've got. It is the Sky Racing WA Derby, $200,000 Group 1, and what a field it is. The barrier draw has made it absolutely fantastic. Can't wait for it. And on the back of the JP Stratton last week, we have the Sky Racing Navy Cup, and it is the golden ticket race. So the winner goes straight in. There's probably 4, I think, from the top 12 in the Navy Cup. Sanriel hasn't gone in, and he's on the borderline. So if a runner outside of those 4 could push Sanriel outside of the 12, as I say hello to Glen Mortimer. Glenn, big week. What a night it is. What a race. And how good is it going to be at Gloucester Park tomorrow night?
Going to be a great night at Gloucester Park tomorrow night, Michael. WA Derby, always a good race. The 3-year-olds go over the 25-36, which is always a test, and over the years has brought a few surprises. And tomorrow night, the barrier draw, who knows? It may just get another surprise tomorrow night. But we are lucky enough to be talking to someone tonight who has got a very big part to play in the WA Derby.
Yeah, Greg Bond. He was on Tim and Digby this morning, but we'll go in more depth, not only in the Derby, but also they touched upon the Cup horses for next week, but we'll get into that. And also, he's a sport. Which
down in Pinjarra.
Yeah, broke the track record at Pinjarra first up for him. So plenty to talk to with one half of Team Bond.
Yes, looking forward to that now. Great to be back as always. They haven't changed the locks yet, Michael, so I guess we'll just keep coming back until they do.
Yes, I keep on saying if you need to cut costs. Yeah. Although I don't know what costs they're going to cut out of this show.
Well, maybe Bray's elaborate salary might have to go, but that's probably about it. Certainly won't be from you and myself, Michael. Now, it was a chop out last week for Bomber at Gloucester Park, but a very solid return from our man Ollie. 5 winners from 6 races and a third as well when he wanted to have a Richie 1x3, and it got up Spudmeister and ran third. So well done to Ollie. Great night at Gloucester Park last Friday night. As always, Race 1, well rated by Donald Harper above. Sweet Lucifer landed the winner in the first, and trainer Leanne Lee celebrated just her second Metro win, and the last Metro win was back in 1989. So 35 years. It's a great story. Congratulations to Leanne Lee. Well driven by Donald Harper too.
In good form,
first. Great form. He's been driving a lot of winners, which is good to see. Race 3, then you came along, held off an early charge to street a handy field, winning by 16 metres, and jumped straight into the WA Derby. So, emphatic win. Also emphatic was Jaws of Lincoln, who goes around tomorrow night as well. Put in a few rough strides, got to the breeze, toughed it out wide, but still was able to win easily. So that was a great win. Mr. Smarty, 32.7, please. That's loitering, absolutely loitering. But very, very hard race to gauge any form out of, because it was impossible for horses to make ground in the back half of the field. So
cemented your spot in the.
Oh, we were happy. We just chucked out the tow rope and got a nice little cart forward. But, Mr. Smarty was just too good again. Our Sandy Shaw was walking across the line in the end, but did enough to win. And Soho Seraphin bought up a double for Kim Prentice and Mitch Miller, paying $23. Held off a very determined the Mickey Taker, having everything thrown at it by Aidan DeCampo. Gloucester Park last Friday night, a double to Gary Hall Senior and Kim Prentice. Good to see KP get a double. Driving treble to Gary Hall Jr., driving double to Mitch Miller and driving double to Denny Roberts. Bunbury Friday night, a training double to Wayne Justins. It was good to see Wayne get a double there. And Aldo Cortopassi got a treble at Bunbury. We were talking about Aldo last week and the good work he's doing, and Ashley Markham's also got a treble as well. So big night down there in Bunbury. Saturday night at Narrogin was a great card. Driving double to Donald Harper, driving double to that man Shannon Savelko. Monday at Pinjarra, another driving double to Shannon Savelko, 3 to Gary Hall Jr. And Tuesday at Gloucester Park, just another double to Shannon Savelko to finish off the week. So great week of harness racing, Michael. Looking forward to tomorrow night.
Yeah, really looking forward to tomorrow night. The WA Derby, Navy Cup, a lot on the line for a number of these horses, and we also get to see a few good mares go around.
Certainly do. Some great racing all round. I was looking at sometimes this colour-coded race and think this is going to be good, and I may as well have colour-coded them all. And some looks like some pretty good value there tomorrow night too. All you got to do, of course, is find it.
You do take copious amounts of notes,
yes,
and highlight a lot of things.
Well,
even more so than me.
My eyesight's not as good as it used to be, Michael. So I need as many prompts as I possibly can. But great night tomorrow night at Gloucester Park. Can't wait.
Big week in harness racing as well for announcements, and we'll discuss them a little bit later, including an Inter Dominion announcement. And a few other things we'll talk about in just a moment, or after we get to our guest. And stand by, because our guest is pretty good this week. Going to play a big hand.
He's got a very nice team of 3-year-olds, Michael, and he's got them all over the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But you know, this time of year, that stable always seems to fire.
Well, one of those horses raced into the Derby field with a really impressive win last week, and that was Then You Came Along. And he held the front, had to work a little bit to find the front, but didn't when Denny let him go, didn't he accelerate away? He ended up winning by 4 lengths on the line. Here is Then You Came Along, cementing his place in this week's Derby.
Muscles flat as a biscuit behind it. Atlantic Gem out 3 wider. This is raced away. Then You Came Along. Menemsha's the one working home quite well out wider on the track. Trying to get out is Quinton. Prince of Pain, no run in the straight, and it is all the favourite. Then You Came Along. It's a mile out in front. Battling on strongly on the inside, Ideal Muscle. Down the outside, Menemsha. Battling on as well, Jimmy Rocks. Menemsha will get second in the end, but Then You Came Along. Won by about 20 metres to Menemsha. Third, Jimmy Rocks, and fourth in Ideal.
One of 5 runners for Team Bond in tomorrow night's WA Derby, sponsored by Sky Racing, and one half of Team Bond joins us on the line now. Greg Bond, welcome to the program.
G'day, Rads and Morts. How are we?
Yeah, really good, Bondy, and good to have 5 in a derby. It shows that the team's going well.
Yeah, we sort of had planned, obviously, to try and have some numbers in it this year, but Tuvalu obviously stood up nicely when he came back from a break, and he definitely earned his spot. And Golden Load was probably one that probably not many had on the radar. We've had a bit of an opinion at home with him at home, and earlier on, but he took a while for the penny to drop with him racing wise, and but you've obviously seen that in the last probably 4 or 5 weeks that the penny's dropped, and he's obviously got good ability, so he earned his spot clearly. And then You Came Along was very happy with his effort last Friday. Had to do a bit of work early, and wasn't quite sure how he would handle that, but to his credit, he let down lovely and put him away with a degree of comfort.
Well, I've got to say, you've got 5 in it. Sometimes you are making up the numbers, but geez, you can make a case for all 5 of your runners tomorrow night. Yeah,
look, probably Then You Came Along. He's one that'll probably be 3 back the fence, I would have thought. I'm thinking we should be leading with Vegas Strip, and so that puts him in as you know, 3-back defence sometimes is better than being 2-back. The runs can come, but yeah, we've got with him and Golden Load back in the pack, and probably Christopher Dance to a degree somewhere there, and 2 up the front somewhere. Hopefully, it gives us a few bullets to fire depending on how the race is run. If it's run a bit upside down, the ones back in the pack will obviously make their presence felt, and if it's not, well, hopefully the ones up near the front can get the job done.
3-back defence is always a good spot to be in a derby. I'm surprised Michael didn't lead in tonight with a replay of Petronas Star.
I was going to say,
again.
do you want to talk about Petronas Star?
He does tend to do that to me a fair bit, Michael, but that's okay.
Well, the big question for me, Bondi, was who was going to go 3 pegs. Was it you came along because he's right there, or with Golden Load, go there. But you've indicated that then you come along will probably take that position, and Golden Load just go into the running line.
Well, I would have thought so. I mean, end of the day, if Madison, I'll let Madison drive her race, but I would have thought it's if I would have thought her initial reaction would be, oh, that's going to be a good spot for a 3-back defence. I mean, you're tracking up Vegas Strip and Menemshire, and so I think as a driver, she's got a responsibility to take what she considers to be the best spot. So I'm not going to tie anyone's hands and say, oh, go here and go there and let that one go there, because that's not how it should be run. And there's different ownership groups as well in the horses. So I would have thought it's within, it's a good spot for Then You Came Along. Having said that, if Golden Load had drawn the same barrier as Then You Came Along, then he probably would have gone there too, but that's not how it panned out in the barriers.
Yeah.
So how hard was it for Denny to make the decision to jump on Christopher Dance? Like Michael said, not making up numbers with any of the runners, and they all have their chance given the right run. Difficult decision for Denny?
Yeah, I was out sort of doing a bit of track maintenance and stuff, and came in, and I said, and just sort of asked her, "You got any thoughts?" She said, "No, I'm sticking with Christopher Dance." I don't think it actually came in really a big thought process for her. I mean, she knows how the horse goes. Look, it's definitely levelled everything up. The barrier draws have definitely dragged horses like Vegas Strip right into it, obviously, and made it harder for Christopher Dance. But no, she didn't really have to think about it much. From what I saw, she was quite happy. No, I'm sticking with him.
I actually listened to Denny this morning on Gareth Hall's program Facing the Breeze on SEN Track, and Denny actually said it was a choice between Christopher Dance and Touraloo. That was her second choice, so she must have a really high opinion of Touraloo.
Well, he's one that Dylan felt had he got a clear run at the top of the lane, he probably would have won the Western Gateway on him. They were his words. And he is working like at home. He's working great. His hopper work. He's running away from horses, and he's doing it with a degree of comfort. So I can understand her thinking that, because if he got a good trip, he's going really, really well. I'm not sure where he's going to lob from that barrier, but if he gets any sort of reasonable trip, he's a serious player in the race, because he was a bit weak when we got him, and we gave him a few starts and tipped him out, and gave him a lot of conditioning work before he started racing this time in, to try and get a bit more bottom to him, and I think we've probably achieved that to a large degree anyway. So he's definitely not without a winning chance. I don't think he could win it sitting in the breeze, and he's probably not going to be there anyway. But if he was camped off him, as you saw in the Western Gateway, he was ready to rock and roll if the run came.
Certainly a very talented horse, albeit a little bit green, but still very, very talented, and obviously has an extremely good future in front of it. But Christopher Dance, drawn barrier 9, you just see Denny just continually working forward to try and get to the breeze? Yeah,
it's a tricky one for Denny there, because based on what seniors had to say, and I'm probably with him without a tribute. If it got the breeze, he'd probably. They're saying that they will keep it, and I've got no reason to think they're all bluffing. But so it's a bit tricky for Denny. She'll need to sum that up, and if that is the case, and if out of tributes in front, we'll keep a good speed on with the leader anyway. But he may well have to come with one run from the 1,000 or 1,100, Glen, and if he does, so be it. I still think he's good enough on what he's shown us, and the ability of the horse to do that and still get the job done with as long as I'm not running home in 55.5 up front, I'm sure he can be right in it. Yeah.
And confidence levels of Vegas Strip holding up?
Well, he naturally runs the gate. You don't even need to chase him. That's nothing that doesn't come into my equation about not being able to lead. He's got the toe off the arm to lead that. I would have thought comfortably. He might get some. There might be a couple out wide that maybe want to have a ping, which is fair enough. But I've got no doubt that he's got the necessary gate speed to hold up, and Chris can make his call and drive him accordingly from there.
It's probably not the quickest front line, Bondi. Like, they're all very good, but probably not.
It is a bit interesting, isn't it? Rads, it's sort of. I think Wave Rider's got speed. I think Franco Encore has got has shown speed. Not sure what they would do with him, whether they just grab hold and try and give him a soft trip, or whether they pop the arm with him. As I said, Wave Rider has got its share of gate speed, but probably the Your Horse Morts in 5, I would think that probably wouldn't get involved. I would think 7 and 8 wouldn't get involved, and probably Denny's not potentially going to get involved either. So it's going to be tricky, but I would like to think Vegas Strip's got the necessary off the arm to hold up and run the race from there.
Well, on Tab Touch, the market's sort of the biggest corrections have probably come around your horses. Vegas Strip, $460 to $340. Touraloo's pretty steady at $12. Christopher Dance, he's the one. The punters have deserted him a little bit. He's 205, touched 320, back into 310, but we might get 5-2 tomorrow about him tomorrow night, Christopher Dance. And then you came along. I think that they made a mistake there. $31 they put up about him. He's into 13. And $19 in steady golden load as well. So there's obviously the punters have sort of rallied around the barrier draw with Vegas Strip leading, and also then you come along. Most people think that 3 fence and as you say, 3 fence in a 2,500 metre race can be a lot better than behind the leader.
Well, it can be, and Menem Shah will be on the back of Vegas Strip, and look, he's racing very well as well. He was driven pretty quietly last Friday night and found the line quite well. So, I think it's sort of obviously with Menem Shah and Out of Tribute and probably our runners that they're probably what I can see on paper, probably the genuine players in the race, and possibly Wave Rider if he found a really good trip from his wide gate. But it's going to be a great spectacle, and we've got good drivers and good horses going around. So I'm sure whoever wins it will have definitely earned it.
Yeah, certainly will. As Michael said, 25, 36, 3-year-olds that can throw something different, and the barrier draw has just made it that little bit more interesting. But you certainly hold the key hand in the race, Bondi, and you do have a couple of others throughout the card. A little bit later on in the WA Derby consolation, Prince of Pain got the visitors draw out there in number 9. Pretty tough out there, but it's a fairly even field. You give it any chance out there, Bondi?
He probably hasn't been going quite as good as we'd like, and I'll probably, if he doesn't measure up tomorrow night, he's probably better off having a break. He's had a few runs, but in his best form, even from the barrier, if it was solidly run affair, I would still give him a chance. But yeah, he's probably not one I could sawl anyone into just at the moment. I don't think he's 100% on the top of his game. We've changed a couple of things around since he last raced the other week. And hey, if that does the trick, well and good. If it doesn't, then we'll probably rip his shoes off and give him a break and bring him back as a 4-year-old.
But then you've got the good draw in the next race, Bondi. You've drawn number 1 with Artie by the Seaside. Small field, but it's a nice field.
Yeah. Look, initially I wasn't going to race tonight, but she'd done that well since the run she had behind Steno last start. And I thought it might have knocked her around a little bit, but to her credit, she picked herself up really well, and we gave her a very soft trial at Pinjarra the Wednesday following, and then she just had to jump out at Byford on Sunday to get her back in the draw. But yeah, look, she's trained on great, and I expect her to. That issue she had at the start last time, hopefully that's only a one-off, and we'll be able to hopefully get the job done Friday night, and that'll top her off nicely for the first Mares Classic the following Friday.
All right, we got on Tab Touch, Artie by the Seaside is, as you'd expect, a short price favourite. She's going to go around currently at $1.18, and Princess Pain is currently $16 with Tab Touch. Dark Eyes $2.60 ahead of Ideal Muscle $4.20, as you expect. The emergencies are usually the favourite for the consolations. But it is good that they're running consolations for these races as well.
Yeah, look, it's great. I know it's not a full field, but it's great that they're supporting them, because obviously some of those horses are Westbred horses, and in those consolations, and if they can get a piece of the first 3 placings, will they get a kick up with the Westbred bonus? So it is great that they're doing that, and supporting the 3-year-olds and supporting the local breds. Now,
you don't have a runner in the Navy Cup, which is a golden ticket race into the Pacing Cup the following week, but you've got 2 that are in the top 12. Minstrel, who's ranked 2nd, and Tenzing Bromack, who ranks 7, so they're firmly entrenched, and you'll get a start with both of them. First of all, how's Minstrel come through? You scratched him last week. How is he?
Yeah, good. Yeah, he just got down early in the morning, and on Wednesday, and he just hadn't eaten up, and he just had a bit of a temperature, so we treated him straight away just to make sure that if there was any colicky issues, it didn't grow legs on us. Obviously, we had to do that, and that by treating him, he wouldn't be able to race, obviously, because he would have, and he was going to have a gallop that Wednesday morning, so he missed that gallop. So that made the decision for us. But look, he was back on his tucker Thursday, and he had a great workout last Friday morning, and he's probably would have loved to have had that run on the Friday night, but we've had, obviously he's got some nice horses to work with at home, so he had a very good hit out then, and he's trained up good this week, and him and Tenzing Bromack will have a good hit out tomorrow morning, and they'll both perform very well Friday week.
And Denny in the interview today with Gareth said she will be driving Minstrel regardless of barrier draw. She said, I jumped off a couple of times and regretted it, and I'm sticking with Minstrel.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at his record, he's obviously Tenzing Bromack's a very nice horse in his own right, but obviously Minstrel's got that bit of X factor, and in that Pacing Cup, we probably need to, if we could snag a gate and lead, and we definitely think we could give Mr. Smarty something to chase. Not saying we'd beat him, but we'd give ourselves every chance anyway.
Certainly hasn't, barrier draw hasn't been all that kind to Minstrel of late, but hopefully a good one in the Pacing Cup. Interesting to see Captain Ravishing coming across for the Pacing Cup.
Yeah, looking forward to watching that race. I mean, it's that's a great race, that free for all. From the point of view of obviously Laverajo during run, you would think that he'd be wanting to hold the front, and then them electing to run Steno in that race, obviously just maybe dipping the toe in the water to see if she could possibly get a run in the Pacing Cup. Possibly, I don't know. Yep. And Captain Ravishing, well, he's not going to just be gifted the front or the breeze, I wouldn't have thought straight away. So it's going to be a good test to see how he A goes, having to do a bit of work, and B, how he gets around Gloucester Park.
Yeah, certainly going to be good warm-up for the Pacing Cup for a few of these. As you said, Lavrajo look to hold the front. Swing Band, second up. We've then got Captain Ravishing was spoken about. Jaws of Lincoln, very impressive last week. Diego drawn out wide. So looks like being a good lead-in for some of these horses as they head towards the Pacing Cup.
Yeah, no, it's a race. It's actually, well, in my mind anyway, creates a lot of interest, which is great. So it's got the ingredients of everyone will be a bit wiser after it as to who's sitting where in the pecking order, so to speak.
Now, also, both horses are nominated for the Inter-Dominion this year in Sydney. You're still in the nominations after the third rankings.
We are. I mean, I don't plan to go. I mean, it's a nice thought to go, but the Radley is, and look, possibly Minstrel's still an outside chance to go. Sky does most of the work on him. If she was real keen to go, we'd look at it, but I won't take Tenzing Bromac. It's just sort of, I guess you apply a little bit of commercial Radley to it as well, and the heats at $30,000, they're not really all that appealing, and the final, albeit 500,000, but it's still not for a race of that, I guess, stature. It falls a long way short. Yeah,
well, the good news is this, Bondi, this week they announced that Queensland will have it for at least the next 3 years. I think possibly longer. $1 million back up for the final. $40,000 heats, but only over 2 weeks. And moving to July, which I think, first of all, the $1 million is really welcome, as you just said. But I think the time slot change to July is actually a really good part of the calendar for the Inter-Dominion.
Well, I think in Queensland it is because their weather that time of year up there historically anyway is pretty good, and probably the rest of Australia is pretty bad. So I think it. To me, on the outside looking in, I think they've probably made a pretty good call there, and they've got some pretty serious money for the final. So they do it pretty well up there, Queensland. I heard some really good reports from people that were there in relation to the constellation they had and series, and they're doing a good job. Yeah,
I think I've said it a number of times on this show. David Brick, who is the harness manager for Racing Queensland, I think he's the best harness administrator in the country. And you look at what he's done, he's driving a lot of this, like the Constellations and the Inter-Dominion, but he's the one that drove sectional times on the Sky Channel coverage and the numbers in running with the chiclets down the bottom and all that sort of stuff. And I think he's a step ahead of a lot of the administrators in the country at the moment, particularly in the PRAs. Bondi, but also the 4-year-olds are coming back. We're coming up to the Classic and the Retrovision Golden Nugget, and on Monday at Pinjarra in the 4-year-old Classic, we have Lusaka resuming against a really good field. You've drawn 9, and this fella, geez, he's nothing if not consistent.
Yeah, look, he's probably not going to win a nugget for us, but as you said, he's got some wonderful turn of foot when he sat up, and as you said, consistency-wise, he's always there. And look, he's had a little break. This is his first run back, and he's working up really nice at home. Very, very happy with him. So I expect him to run he will run a good race on Monday. Not sure where we'll be in the run. The one horse, I had a quick look a little while ago, Rads, but I thought the one horse might lead. We might even opt to take that 3 back the fence option first up. Otherwise, you might potentially get shuffled back. But I'll have a closer look at it and have a chat with Denny on Monday. But look, he's working up good. So am looking forward to the series. Can he win it? Probably horses like Mr. Smarty and Never Ending have definitely got his measure, but he is an opportunist against good horses, and you definitely wouldn't discount him, put it that way.
And the Little Master resumes. on Monday as well, who has certainly shown his fair share of ability. Obviously, just hasn't been getting ready for the Derby, but is in a 3-year-old race.
Yeah. We brought him back ready to try and see if we could get him into the Derby. I mean, he did run third in the Golden Slipper last year. And he just had some soundness issues behind, and we couldn't quite get on top of it. And there was nothing on film to say, "Oh, that's your issue." So we had to back off him and then treat him and then bring him up again. And now everything's tickety-boo. So would have loved to have sort of had him racing, probably 2 months ago, and possibly he could have been one that may have snuck into the Derby field as well. But anyway, look, he's working up good at home. He's good to go. Got a nice barrier. He's got good gate speed. Good solid field first up. I would expect him to be pretty competitive in that race too.
All right, and before you go, you had one impressive on Pinjarra on Monday. He's a sport. Broke the track record at Pinjarra and put up a 5-length margin on a listed class field to win the Don Randall Memorial, and he looks to have plenty of upside, Bondi.
Yeah, he's one we got over, and he actually had a quarter crack, so we would have had him ready to go probably 2 or 3 months ago. And once we got the quarter crack and at home, he actually had run some pretty special work at home, and I've actually put a nomination in for him for the Pacing Cup. He probably won't get a start, but he's cup class, that horse, and unfortunately won't be this year. And if we'd had more time up our sleeve and he wouldn't have that quarter crack, he probably would have made his presence felt and possibly would have been in the Pacing Cup, because he's a quality horse, yeah. And
part owned by the great Colander Philippi. You've got some ownership with some legendary New Zealanders on the back of himself, and I think Minstrel with the Butts, and obviously Colander Philippi with this horse.
Yeah, I'd registered some interest in this horse a number of times, probably in the last 18 months, and Colin, that they didn't really want to sell him, and they've got his full brother called Here's Herbie over there, which he's got. And anyway, they ended up giving us a call and said, look, we're thinking about maybe sending him over and just doing like a harvest deal with you, which I thought, if you'd like to do that, we're more than happy to do. So they were happy to do that, and I'd like to think, on what we've seen of him anyway, all being well, they're going to be nicely rewarded anyway.
Bondi, thanks for your time. I think we've discussed everything.
Yeah, well, let's hope I'm having a cleansing with you tomorrow night, mate, somewhere.
And good luck tomorrow night, particularly in the Derby, but with all your runners over the weekend, and we'll see you at the track tomorrow night.
Yeah, guys, anytime. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Good on you, Greg Bond, and one half of Team Bond.
Yes.
And as he said, Sky does a lot of work with Minstrel, who's a great chance in the Cup next week. And
certainly is a team effort there, and Bondi is always very good with his time.
Yep.
And,
So you can make a case, as I said, you can make a case for all 5 of his runners.
Yeah, you could very easily. And as we know, that just the fact it's a 25-36 for 3-year-olds, some that could be pegs,
well, and you look at like distance races, pegs, it doesn't matter where you are. And if you listen to the coverage every time, like Mick Guerin's on the Thoroughbred Central or racing.com, when they do the extended coverage in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland, every time it comes up, you've got to be on the pegs.
Yep. And
more often than not, he's right, because it's such a different the amount of ground you save over 2,500. It doesn't matter what track you're on. It's just a major difference. In the running line, they sort of start to drop off, and
they do.
Yeah, and it happens here. 3 pegs, as you know. It's a great place.
Yeah,
it's a great place to be.
It has been a good place for us, and it's been a bad place. But certainly, if I had the option, I'd be 3 pegs in a 25-36, particularly in the age races.
Yeah,
a lot different when you get up to Pacing Cup. But still, sort of field.
Still, the amount of times we've seen in Pacing Cups, them coming from 3 pegs and either knocking them off or getting very close.
You just don't see the field normally open up as much as what you're doing.
No, but it still happens. Like, West came from last on the pegs when he won, and
true.
Stewie McDonald won a Fremantle Cup from 3 pegs, and so
Good spot to be.
Yeah,
Very good spot
it
to be.
certainly is, and as you say, particularly pronounced for age racing than whatever.
But
yeah.
aside from that, like you said, every one of Bondi's runners you could make a case for, and just the way the draw is, it really is going to be. It should be,
And that's why the market is the way it is.
should be a great WA Derby.
Yeah, and let's give it. And good, Tab Touch, all markets are up. They were up at just
Now,
before
how
1
good's
p.m.
that, Michael?
Yeah, fantastic.
All of November,
All of November.
they'll be up on the Thursday.
Just around 1 o'clock.
So listen to Talking Trots, get the early prices, and
Yeah,
go to your
Have a
Tab
bet.
Touch account, and away you go,
bet responsibly.
as we always do.
Now, that's the Derby's obviously been up for longer, and let's have a quick look at the Tab Touch market. Vegas Strip, 460 to 340. I think he'll start favourite. Alta Tribute, $5 and pretty solid. Franco Encore, 151. Tualu, $8 out to 12 and stayed there. Artful Major, $41. World's Above, $201. Wave Rider, $13. Madam Publisher, the filly, $26. Christopher Dance, $205 out to 310.
But 205 was the wrong price.
Oh, it was the wrong price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a
And as I say, I think Vegas Strip will start favourite over Christopher Dance, but both I think they're almost equal chances. That's what the market says as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried.
No.
If you were planning on backing Christopher Dance, I wouldn't be worried about the drift.
No.
Just shouldn't have been 205.
No. Menemshah is at $9 in from 21. That was the wrong price. Correction there.
Drawn 10.
Then you come along 31 to 13, wrong price, correction.
Yep.
And pretty solid for Golden Load at $19. And also the Navy Cup, which is all important, Morts. And it's been up for a couple of days as well. Bomber's not going to tip in the Navy Cup. He's got a tip in the Derby, though, in the next segment. Leverage O, 165, 180 back to 170. And I know Bomber's keen on Leverage O. He thinks he'll win. I spoke to him earlier this week. Steno, $9 to $8. Swing Band, 11 to 9. Soho Dow Jones at 126. Captain Ravishing, $3 out to $4. Al Capone, 126. Jaws of Lincoln, 71 into 31, so a little bit of a move there. Magnificent, 126. Diego, 126. Too Fast, Too Serious. Now listen to this. They've obviously put up the wrong decimal.
Right.
And I don't know whether anyone got on, but the fluctuations are showing 126 to 950. 126 is ridiculous. To be where he's going to be, beyond the leader of 3 pegs.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether anyone got on or...
Hopefully someone did.
Yeah.
A nice price to get on. And
Yeah, $1.95 a place, which is still, I think, okay value. Talks Up a Storm is 26 and Wild West at $91. That's the Navy Cup tomorrow night. So good racing. We're going to talk to Bomber's got his 4 selections over the next 2 segments, and one of them is the Derby. So, but the good thing is we've got markets tonight, Morts.
which is terrific.
We touched on the Inter-Dominion announcement this week that the Inter-Dominion will be moving to Queensland from next year for
That's
3
fantastic.
years. And I think it's and for Queensland, as Bondi said, July is a great spot for it. It will change a few things for their races. The Blacks are fake. It's taken a haircut because of the money for the Inter-Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone from 400 to 250, and it'll be moved back into the summer carnival. That date to be is confirmed.
Yeah.
But once again, Queensland at the moment, they are leading the way in harness
Yeah, they
racing.
certainly are.
Doing a great job. The Constellations...
It was fantastic.
Yeah, and it's built up over the last couple of years, and they've got a plan of continual growth for that carnival. They've led the way on the Sky Channel coverage with sectional times originally and the Chicklets. They've also got the Ultimate Driver Series. Another one was announced today, Morts, Nathan Dawson for the One Over Crush Syndicate. And that's not surprising because he has dominated Queensland for the last couple of years. He said he was the Australian leading driver, I think, last season. So that's 5 drivers announced, including
There's the one in Perth. Oh,
Gary Hall Jr.
Has been announced, has it?
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Yeah. Wonder if he's going to drive Mighty Ronaldo in the Nullarbor. Have we announced that yet?
No, I think it's imminent.
It's got to be close.
Yeah, it is.
It's got to be
it's imminent.
close.
Yeah, must be very close. One thing, the only thing I'll say about the Inters is that you obviously want to attract horses from everywhere.
Yeah.
Just need to look at the heats.
I think
the money there.
And I think, and we found that ourselves, like when we were 1.2, that first in a Dominion, and the heats I think were 50. I've got to go back. And
They were.
refresh.
Then they went to 75.
70, yes. We made a correction, made it $1 million and shared it around. That was from feedback from the trainers and drivers we spoke to, and particularly horses coming over and travelling to make sure they can pay for the trip and you attract the best horses. So I think they'll review it and take it on and come up with the best mix. But at the moment, they want $1 million race. But whether it's an 850 and say 75 or whatever it is. But be interesting to see what they do. Now the rankings came out for the Pacing Cup, Morts. Now all important golden ticket race, the Navy Cup.
So who could possibly jump in with a win?
Well, the horses that are currently in the top 12, and this would be the horses that Sanriel Connections will be hoping one of these will win.
One will win, yeah.
Is Laverajo, who's currently 8, Swing Band, who's currently 6, Captain Ravishing, who is 5 on his initial ranking. Tenzing Bromac, who's not going around, sorry. And then we go down to Diego, who's 11, so he's actually one above Sangreal. And they're the runners that are in it. So they'll be wanting desperately for one of those connections, because if it is a Steno or a Jaws of Lincoln or a Too Fast, Too Serious, they will go straight in and they will be in the top 12. And without
Someone will miss out.
Yeah, without something happening, that'll be the 12. So interesting. And then the rankings for the mares came out. I heard Michael Young on the radio last week
talking about
Penny Black hasn't got
Black,
respect of the handicappers and didn't gain any after a trial win. Still number 14. And Soho Serpentine, due to the win last week, jumps into the top 12.
Yeah.
And 2 comes out. I shouldn't. Hang on. Cyclone Charlotte's come out of those rankings.
Right,
I think she's might have been retired. Bob Fowler has bought her, I think, for breeding.
Okay.
An interesting Ideal Agent came out of the rankings for the Cup as well, because obviously he's not in work.
Wonderful to Fly has drawn the back, I think, the inside of the back this week. Would certainly love to see that mare return to back to her. She was one of the best mares we've seen, but form of late hasn't been that great.
Yeah,
but gets a good draw.
Wonderful to Fly goes around in race number 3. And on the Tab Touch market, currently the market $7.50 and $2. But it'd be great to see her bounce back, because we know how good she is.
Right, outstanding. So
and also for Shane Young, who's a listener of the show and one of the good fellas in the industry.
Certainly is. No, we wish him well. Should be a great Mares Classic, that's for sure.
It sure is. Now, this segment, Morts, is brought to you by Steel Blue Boots. I've changed the sponsor on you.
I was going to say, that's not what my...
I've changed the rundown. I've made an executive decision.
On the run?
Because we've got news.
News? What, they're bringing out a better shoe?
No.
What could possibly happen, Michael, at Steel Blue?
Ross Fitzgerald.
The great Ross Fitzgerald.
Who, founding director of Steel Blue Boots, great sponsor of ours here, great sponsor of Tab Radio, great sponsor of many things, including Swan Districts, was elected to the Gloucester Park Committee.
Yes, that was excellent news.
Yes,
really good news.
It certainly was, and he topped the poll as well at his first go, which is really hard to do. So Ross was elected. Alan Parker stood down. I think we gave Alan Parker a rap last week, and I don't think we can give Alan Parker too many raps. He is an ornament to the industry.
Absolutely.
Won't be lost, obviously, to the industry, because he still does all the catalogues. He's still sending me emails about history, and as he does, which is fantastic, and keeps us up to date on every milestone that's happened. And he's a wonderful man for the industry. So Ross Fitzgerald was elected. Rob Gartrell and John Burt were also returned to the committee of Gloucester Park last night.
That's very good.
At our AGM.
Ross will bring a very good point of view and perspective to that as well, which is great. So.
Already he's made a contribution. We've discussed a number of things about different things, and obviously he loves racing, but he's a very switched on businessman and board member. He knows how boards work and committees work and all that sort of stuff. So, but the main thing is, Steel Blue Boots, they're a mark of true skill, and you can view all their range at of the premium work boots at steelblue.com.
And as you know, Michael, they are designed for comfort, durability and choice, backed by a 30-day 100% comfort guarantee. And I can tell you something, you won't need that guarantee because they are outstanding. Whatever you do, Steel Blue boots are tailor-made to help you do your best. And as we know, there's nobody that does it better than Ross Fitzgerald on a Friday night at Gloucester Park.
No.
Loves to get along and support his...
He's booked in Steelos this week already.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Great supporter of harness racing.
He sure is. All right, I think it's time for a break, Morts.
Yeah,
Have we broke the record yet?
We did have somebody who was hanging on listening last week.
Our man Eddie.
Eddie must have been up at about 3 a.m. Boy, Eddie.
In Sydney time. Yeah. He's got the delay as well.
Eddie, boy, oh boy.
Good on
Need to go to Bunnings and buy a mirror and go home and have a good look.
See, we don't have many listeners, but they're loyal.
They are very loyal.
Very loyal.
And we do love every one of them.
Yeah, and we can name them.
Yeah.
and count them.
Scary.
All right, let's have a break. Let's go back to Monday. It was the Don Randall Memorial while we're on Team Bond. Denny Roberts, he's a sport, broke the track record at Pinjarra and put up 5 lengths on his very talented opposition.
Northview Dancing comes away a length at the 200. Bellissimo Quistos 3 wide as Caliente comes through on the outside of Northview Dance, and further back then DeChetta is better. Soho Santorini wider out, but G, he's a sport. He's put a gap in them. Caliente went to second. Bellissimo Quistos, Soho Santorini, but G, he's a sport. Bolts in, wins by a minute. Second Caliente, third Bellissimo Quistos.
There's always a lot more in store for you at Retrovision. Like Retrovision's lowest price guarantee. If you find a lower price on a same-stocked item, we'll beat it. There's our 60-day price promise, where we'll refund you 120% of the difference if you find a lower advertised price on any purchase. Plus, RAC members save an extra 5% every day of the year. After 60 years, a lot has changed, but there's still a lot more in store at Retrovision.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
Very hard on the inside is Mighty Ronaldo. No run from Penny Tiger. No run Tenzing Bromac. And then came Swing Banner round the turn though. He hasn't moved yet on Mr. Smarty. It's clear from Jumping Jack Mac. Mighty Ronaldo, Penny Tiger, Tenzing Bromac. They're all bottled behind the leader. And he goes for it now. And Mr. Smarty clear from Jumping Jack Mac and Mighty Ronaldo. And Mr. Smarty wins it well from Jumping Jack Mac. Mighty Ronaldo and Penny Tiger did a good job for 4th from Tenzing Bromac.
He certainly did, Penny Tiger. Do a good job to run 4th, and he trialled yesterday, had a satisfactory trial, so that's out of the way, so he'll be ready for the Pacing Cup next week. But Mr. Smarty made it the big double of the Brennan into the Stratton and was very good as we expected once he held up. He was always going to be too good. Morts Jumping Jack Mac was a really good run, great drive by Stewie McDonald, and Mighty Ronaldo, I reckon that's the happiest you've ever been without getting a run.
Yeah, he was really pleased with him. Yeah. Really pleased.
Cemented his place in that because you're on the precipice, but
and he should be in there.
Yeah, yes, I think so.
Yeah. And I know I'm biased, but he ran 4th in the Freo Cup, another step, and he wins.
And won at the previous year.
Yeah,
So he's now 9th, and we'll get a start.
Yeah.
Tricky Mickey's 10th, and we'll get a start.
Yeah.
And so interesting this week with the golden ticket. All eyes on race 4,
absolutely.
and. It's going to be a great race, but then again, it might just cement the top 12 as the top 12, or
correct.
Someone's got the chance to force their way through.
And it'll be good to get a first look at Captain Ravishing.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. Aidan de Campo got the drive as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the horse goes. He's got a lot of high speed, but this track's going to be challenging.
And the gear change I saw today off on X. Is the one-legged spreader.
Yep.
So obviously he's had a look at Gloucester Park and they've decided to put on the one-legged spreader, which a number of horses wear around here, including Rolling Fire.
Yes.
Now this segment, Morts, is brought to you by Retrovision, your local WA electrical appliance specialist, where RAC members receive an additional 5% every day. Last week, for Samsung,
it was 10.
It was 10. How did that go?
Unbelievable, being that Samsung is the biggest brand alongside Apple in the market. Was absolutely brilliant. had a great October, and we head into November, and it's the first anniversary of our store in Ellenbrook.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes,
so
hasn't that
we're
gone quick?
very, very fast. So we're celebrating our first birthday out in Retrovision, Ellenbrook. There's a lot of specific in-store specials and offers. So get along to Retrovision, Ellenbrook. We've got plenty happening there, and we're also giving away 4 $500 Retrovision gift cards just for shopping at Retrovision in Ellenbrook. So get out there and see Mick and Moya and the team, and to say Mort sent, actually say Rad sent you, you'll probably get a bigger discount. Yeah, so go and see the team.
Greg? Actually, before we get to Bomber, I was on Sky with Brittany on the Morning Line show today.
Oh, yes.
And I was about to go on, and the producer, Alan, said, oh, Mick, no one believes me, you're Greg's brother. I went, that could be a good thing. I don't really want to look like him. And I said, I worked there before he did. But anyway, no one remembered me, as always. Anyway, time to welcome in a man who no one ever forgets.
No, how could you?
The great man, Scott Bomber Hill. Bomber, how are you today? And are you looking forward to tomorrow night's classic, the WA Derby?
Oh, well, thanks, Rads, firstly, but yeah, just a cracking night's racing again tomorrow night. It's an exciting time of year, and the cream of the crop are coming to the fore, so yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks, the next month's going to be fantastic, because we roll in the Derby tomorrow night into the Cup, and then we get into the Mares and the 4-year-old races, culminating in the Retrovision Golden Nugget in the second week of December, so really looking forward to that. But tomorrow night, what a night it is, 10 races. The first at 5:17. The feature event is race number 5. It's the Sky Racing WA Derby for $200,000 Group 1 level, and the co-feature race for the Sky Racing Navy Cup golden ticket into next week's WA Pacing Cup. But the first race we got to look at, and great to have markets from Tab Touch, can't say it too often tonight, is race number 3. It is the Sky Racing Listen Live condition pace over the 2130 metres, and let's have a look at the Tab Touch market. Jasper Vella Beach, $4.60 to $6.50. Pierre Whitby, $91. Cordero, $21. Hampton Banner, $7.50. Now favourite, $3.50. I think punters think it'll get across to the front. Mr. Mont Blanc at $4.60 and pretty solid. Hillview Bondi at $21. Rascal at $101. El Daytona, $41. Dominus Factum, who's drawn the outside of the front line, at $10. Wonderful to Fly, who was spoken about, $7.50. Hoppy's Way at $6. And Little Happy Fella at $10. Bomber, this is a really good race. A few market corrections already. Which way are you going in the third?
Yeah, I'm actually, the more I look at the race, the keener I get about Hampton Banner. He gets right back in grade for this race and gets the ideal opportunity to have a really good look for the lead with only Jasper Vella Beach, any chance of holding him out. And he's first up from a spell, doesn't have a very good record first up, so hopefully Group 1 Gary instructs they take a sit there. And, his last 4 runs, Hampton Banner, he's been no real chance of leading in races won by Penny Tiger, Steal the Show, Too Fast, Too Serious, Jaws of Lincoln, and he's been far from disgraced in all of them. So I think if he does cross, I'm convinced he wins. But, the more I look at it, the more confident I get. And that early price was a gift, and I think he's even still value at the $3.50.
You're a game man, Bomber. This is a tough field, I can tell you. I've looked at it, and there's quite a few horses in there that you can make a bit of a case for. But as you said, certainly down in grade, Hampton Banner, and whilst the numerical, isn't flash, it certainly hasn't been disgraced along the way. So, race number 3, horse number 4, Hampton Banner for Chris and Deborah Lewis. What's the staking plan, Bomber?
Yeah, 2-unit bet, Morts, and I think if Jasper Vella Beach does let him roll to the top, we can be very confident. I think in front he'll be winning. All
right, there we go. Good way to start the night.
Absolutely.
And
lots of confidence.
I think by the time we do the Retrovision preview tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with Tim Walker and the boys, it might be even shorter than what it is currently, already firmed right up.
Yes, and just on the Gloucester Park preview tomorrow morning, Kyle Semmington will be on, good. And Kyle's got some really important drives tomorrow night, so he's on Wave Rider plus Swing Band, and he's got several other good drives.
And just announced as the WA representative.
Correct.
In the junior driver.
Yeah, so it'd be great to
wonder
have
if
a
he's
listen.
going to wear the WA colours. I actually almost said to Bondi, your colours are the WA colours now, because that's what Denny wore in the ladies' championship.
Yeah, yep.
So he might look good in blue with the pink circle. Kyle Symington. But anyway, we're up to the Sky Racing Derby, the Group 1. This is what we're going to preview next. This is the big one of the night. It is the Sky Racing WA Derby, Group 1 level, classic, $200,000. And the market's been up for a couple of days on Tab Touch, and there's been some corrections. And I think there might be some more to come as we head into tomorrow night. Vegas Strip, courtesy of the poll, $460 to $340. Alta Tribute, $5 and steady. Franco Encore, $151. Touraloo, $12. Artful Major, $41. Worlds Above, $201. Wave Rider for Kyle Symington, $13. Madam Publisher, the only filly in the race, a golden ticket courtesy of the WA Oaks, is currently $26. Christopher Dance, they did put up a short price of $205. Touch $320. Back into $310. Interesting. Who's going to start favourite between Christopher Dance and Vegas Strip by the time we get to start time? That's the front line. And then the back line, who I think will all play a big part in this race. Menemsha, $21 to $9, a correction there. Another correction with Then You Come Along, $31 to $13. And Golden Load is pretty solid at $19. Bomber. We've seen a little bit of a change in this market. We may see Vegas Strip run the favourite at the moment. Not much between the stablemates Vegas Strip and Christopher Dance, but despite one drawing one and one drawing the outside. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'm with the Drifter. He comes up with the worst draw, but it's probably helped us get a price. And I think if he drew one in this race, he probably goes around twos on. So I think if he just gets the opportunity to get the Vegas Strip swill nice and early, then they might be just forced to take a sit, because they won't want these two going to war in front with Menemsha just sitting on their backs. So I thought Vegas Strip had every possible last time, and Christopher Dance still held him to the line, and this is his third Australian run. I think he can just get to the breeze or possibly even the front and show his dominance. This is a race they bought him for, and hopefully he can win it for us.
Certainly, I hope you're wrong. Certainly... He certainly is the best horse in the race. There's no doubt about that, Bomber. Barrier 9 is just giving you a better price. I agree, if he'd drawn well, he would be in the red, but he's not, so it does represent some value. Fascinating race over the 25-36, which was spoken about so often tonight. All of the Bond runners and all of the other runners just have now made it a very, very competitive race. So can't wait till 7:25 p.m. tomorrow night to watch the Sky Racing WA Derby. Race 5, number 9, Christopher Dance. What's the staking plan for us then, Bomber?
Yeah, 2-unit bet. I just don't think there's that many off the front that are going to go forward. So hopefully he gets the opportunity to get to the breeze easy enough and assert his authority.
Now, Bomber, before we go to the break, you haven't tipped in this race the Navy Cup, but a really important race into next week's Pacing Cup because of the golden ticket. The Tab Touch market has Laverageau at $170. I'll just give you the runners under double figures. 2 Steno, $8. 3 Swingband, $9. Captain Ravishing from Barrier 5 at $4. And inside the back line, Too Fast, Too Serious. I think they missed the decimal point with him originally. It's currently $9.50. What do you think of the Navy Cup? It's an interesting race and plenty to play out here.
Yeah, I think Laverageau should lead. I think from the inside, and Kyle Harper in front. Is there going to be a lot of pressure? A race of this nature, you'd expect there to be some pressure, but geez, he's a good leader and he's a very good front-running driver. I'm with Laverageau. I'm not sure if it'd take the $1.70, but I think he's definitely the one to beat.
All right, it's going to be an interesting race and a great entree into our Group 1 tomorrow night. It's time to take a break. Soho Seraphine jumped into the top 12 of the mares.
Yes, great
after last week. And, it was a double to Kim Prentice and Mitchell Miller as well on the night.
Certainly was.
Also had Soho Down Jones. So great performance, as you mentioned earlier in the night, a double to the boys.
Soho Seraphin, I think, was about $23.
$23.
Very nice.
Yeah, got the better of the Mickey Taker. Not by that much, but in the end, as we go to the break, let's listen to Soho Seraphine making her presence felt, and looks like she'll start in those mares classics as we get towards over the next month.
And Stormy Skies in front with Soho Seraphine giving chase. The Mickey Taker out wider, and then came OK Boomer trying to run on from Regal Cheval. Now the Mickey Taker gets going again, racing after Soho Seraphine and Stormy Skies. It's a Mickey Taker, Soho Seraphine the setter, Soho Seraphine the Mickey Taker, Soho Seraphine just in front, the Mickey Taker trying, Soho Seraphine's got the lead, the Mickey Taker has one last dip, Soho Seraphine caused the boil over and beat the Mickey Taker. OK Boomer and Rock Me Over.
New Mazda.
Yep, I love it. We got it from Bayswater Mazda.
I keep hearing great things about them.
They're fantastic to deal with. Great people, great coffee too.
At Bayswater Mazda, you'll always be well looked after. Visit the team today and find the best drive-away deals on new Mazdas and pre-owned vehicles. Driving is better with Bayswater Mazda.
So's the coffee.
Go and see Bayswater Mazda at the corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, Bayswater. DL 25174.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
Inside now, Hall's about to go for Jaws of Lincoln. 28.5 the next quarter. Jaws of Lincoln travelling well on the outside of Dominus Facton. Hoppy's way trying to get out. And then came Steal the Show out wider. Jaws of Lincoln has raced up on the outside of Dominus Facton. Jaws of Lincoln has taken the lead, drawn clear from Dominus Facton. Then came Hoppy's way, Star Casino. And late on the scene is Hampton Banner, but Jaws of Lincoln bolts in. Jaws of Lincoln wins easily from Dominus Factor, Hoppy's way.
That was a really good win, Morts. Probably known for his high speed, but had to do it the tough outside the leader and just put him away.
Certainly did. I must admit, I thought he could have been a bit exposed second up, but once he knuckled down, he just won easy in the end, and it was a bit of a tough run.
Yeah, no,
so it was a good win.
Yeah, it was a really good win. Second up for Jaws of Lincoln, and he'll continue through the summer carnival and look for some nice races. Getting into that free-for-all cup class now. The Jaws of Lincoln, winner of the Knights of Thunder earlier this year.
And, of course, he's in the Navy Cup.
Yes, of course he is.
So
yes. So he could make the...
If he happened to win that and get the golden
straight
ticket.
through. That's right. And who's to say he can't after that win?
Correct. Yeah.
$31 currently on Tab Touch. All right. This segment, Morts, is brought to you by our good friend at Loans 123 Car Loans, Debt Consolidations, all your personal finance. Who do you see?
The nude nut, Steve Sell.
Stevie Sell. You can do it at loans123.com.au or 1-800...
100. Still doing things the bank can't,
Yes.
Michael. And, Stevie Sell. Luckily, we didn't need him last week, and hopefully we don't need him this week. But he is a good man, and if you do need anything at all, because I can tell you something, Michael, if the nude nut can't sort you...
No, you're a fool to yourself and a burden to others.
Yes. You are in pain.
Yes.
Absolute pain.
Indeed. All right. Next race we're going to look at with the Bomber Hill is race number 7. This is a Sky Racing Active pace over the 21:30, and you can download the app, the Sky Racing Active app. It's really good because at Gloucester Park every Friday night, you get the on-track interviews after each race on Sky Active. Yep. So download the app, and you can listen to them on Tab Radio as well. But you can watch them on Sky Active if you've got the app. So download the Sky Active app, and next week there'll probably be a bigger coverage with Brittany Graham on track for the WA Pacing Cup. So interviews for Sky Racing Active. So make sure you download the Sky Racing Active app. Let's have a look at the Tab Touch market for race number 7. Apologise, $17. Illawong Mustang, $11 to $8.50. Pocket the Change, $18 to $12. Instigator, open 245, got out to 290, back into 260, holds the call. Soho Bollinger at $8. The Bodester at $3.20, pretty solid. You can scratch number 7. Number 8, High Price at $7. Travel Band, $21. And Chambray at $41. Bomber, race number 7. What do you got for us?
as Instigator, staying in front of what I see as his two main rivals early, and he should be just about winning. His gate speed isn't brilliant, but I think it's good enough for him to hold the outside of the gate and bully his way to the top. And if he's in front, then this could just about be over. I think he was a complete forget run last time when he had zero luck and went to the line absolutely hard held. And before that, did all the bullocking 3 wide and narrowly beaten in a 57 last half and 2 dominant wins before that. I think he's going really, really well, this bloke. And if he can find his way to the top, he's going to give us a great sight.
In a stable going very well as well, Jocelyn Young, race number 7, horse number 4, Instigator, trained and driven by Jocelyn Young. What's the staking plan there, Bomber?
Yeah, 2-unit bet, Morton, you're right. Yeah, you can bet with confidence with this stable, that's for sure.
All right, and the final race we're going to look at is race number 8, and it is the WA Derby Consolation. Over the 25-36 metres, 9 runners to go around. We've got Curious Boy at $16, Jimmy Rocks at $5, Dark Eyes holds the core. They put up $3.50. It's favourite at $2.60. Ideal Muscle at $4.20, Quinton $9, Mickey's Pride $12, Soho Skyfall $14, Cabochon at $12, and Prince of Pain $16. The emergencies of feature races usually go pretty well in the Consolation, Bomber, in Dark Eyes and Ideal Muscle. What have you got for us in the Consolation?
Yeah, well, I agree. And I thought Dark Eyes, courtesy of the draw, probably looked the leader and has to be the one that beat her as a result. He's got an exceptional front-running record, and so long as he can just pinch a quarter through that last mile, then he's going to take plenty of beating. And I don't think there's any real natural breeze horse in the race, so he should get that opportunity and then be a chance to fend them off up the straight, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to beat Dark Eyes for Mike Reid and Shannon Savelko. Race 8, number 3. What's the staking plan, Bomber, to fill the wallets on the way out the door?
Yeah, another 2-unit bet. I think he's a nice horse, this bloke, and like I said, I think he does find the front, and yeah, whatever beats him will win.
All right, it's a big night, as we've said a number of times. Derby, Navy Cup. Hopefully, we've found a winner. Have you found a multi for us? We had a multi. We had a week off with a multi last week. Have you got a multi for us on this big card?
Yeah, I have actually. I've gone for a 4-legger, 3 the place and 1 the win. Starting with race 1, number 11, Lion Queen. I think she can actually win, but she's around the $1.30 the place, so that looked a good enough price to put her in. And race 6, number 8, Celestio Matuka, again for the place. Another that I think can win, but he'll have to do all the bullocking work from the breeze, but he does like that position. Race 9, number 1, Artie by the Seaside. She'll just lead and win from the draw. And race 10, number 8, Sugar Street for the place. Another one I think can win, but yeah, hard to see how he misses a place in a race of this nature. So yeah, 4 of those I had around about the $3.20 mark, and I thought that was a nice little multi.
Yeah, on Tab Touch, it's race 1, number 11 at $132 a place. Race 6, number 8, a place at $140. Race 9, number 1, a win at $118, and finish the night. Race 10, number 8, a place at $145. On Tab Touch, that's $3.16, so you're pretty close to the mark there, Bomber, for a 4-leg multi on WA Derby night. As I said, what a great night's racing, Bomber. It's really heating up at Gloucester Park, and the next month is going to be fantastic with the Derby, and then rolling into the Pacing Cup, and then we've got the mares and the 4-year-old races.
Which kicks off at Pinjarra this week with the Pinjarra Classic.
Yeah, the Pinjarra Classic, and some runners that'll really make their presence felt in those big races in the 4-year-old Classic and also the Retrovision Golden Nugget. So great racing, Bomber. Isn't it great to be a lover of harness racing at the moment?
Oh, sure is. This is the time of year we get excited about, and if the heart rate doesn't lift a bit through the next couple of months, then you're in serious trouble, I think.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Bomber, good on you. Good luck tomorrow night, and we'll speak to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Scott Bomber Hill. And
yes, the great man.
I'll tell you how strong this Pinjarra Classic race is. As I scroll down to it, the first reserve is a horse you've mentioned earlier, and congratulations to Leanne Lee for another winner at Gloucester Park. Sweet Lucifer is the first reserve, and Mickey's Beach, who couldn't have been more impressive first up, he's the second reserve. Like, that's how strong the race is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Monday, Pinjarra.
Yeah, it's a cracking field. When those two can't make it, you've got, and there's still some really good 4-year-olds to come in.
Yes, that's right. And there's one going around the Payson Cup.
Yeah.
There's one that's just come back from the Eureka.
Yeah, so there's just
and there's probably a couple more just floating around ready to come back as well.
And we've got those two that can't get a run now without those other horses in, so it's going to be a really competitive series, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to the break and let's listen to the first race last week. This is Sweet Lucifer for Leanne Lee and Donald Harper.
Right. Moving up on the outside, trying hard, was getting into the trouble there, Soho Moonraker. There was big trouble everywhere, and this leader's been left a mile in front and looked at the goods around the turn. Sweet Lucifer, it opened up about 8 metres in front of the wild card, and then El Waddell sneaking home. So running on as well is Soho Moonraker, and right down the outside is High Price, but Sweet Lucifer's going to walk in, and Sweet Lucifer never really looked like losing and won it well.
Hi, I'm Steve Sell from Loans 123. We are car finance specialists. We can help you find the loan you're looking for, your new car, and help find a home for your old one. If you want a new or used car but feel uncomfortable visiting car yards on your own, we can help and often save you money. For a stress-free way of buying and financing your next car, who do you see? Steve Sell at loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Back is Who's the Dad. We'll have use of the sprint lane coming up soon. They went 28.5 off the back. Off the pegs comes Jasper Vella Beach. Artie by the Seaside starts to run on, and Crowder Reactor sticks to the inside. Into the straight, Penny Black swept up, took the lead here from Maclani. Jasper Vella Beach out wider on the track. Artie by the Seaside storms up behind them, runs up behind a Blind Alley too. No run for Artie by the Seaside. Who's the Dad's coming through, but Penny Black's in front, and Penny Black will win. Second, Jasper Vella Beach. Third, Who's the Dad. Fourth, we had Maclani.
That was a trial of Penny Black from last Wednesday, a week ago, in preparation for tonight. She's $8 in the second last race, going around against Artie by the Seaside, mind you.
Makes it a bit tough.
18. Starlight Dream for Donald Harper is drawn to at $4.60, but Penny Black is $8 in the market.
Currently number 14.
Yeah, 14. Actually, we're going to talk to the managing owner of Penny Black in just a moment to get some tips in the country. But before we do, Morts, this segment's brought to you by Bayswater Mazda. Driving is better in a Bayswater Mazda. Corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, and in the VIP park out the front.
Where it belongs.
Where it belongs.
Not its driver, just the car.
Is the Mazda 6 Turbo.
The Mazda 626 Turbo. And driving any Mazda is great, but driving a Bayswater Mazda is even better. And coming up to this time of year, they've got plenty of good used cars in on the lot, as well as plenty of stock of the latest range of Mazda. So get down to the team there and
they'll look after you.
Have a cup of coffee,
Have a
Michael.
coffee.
Have a coffee.
They'll look after you.
Bayswater Mazda, that is the place to be.
They know how to do it. Make coffee and sell cars.
Sell cars, new cars, used cars. But yes, the car's got the VIP spot, not the owner.
Now, our country and Queensland form expert is about to join us on the line, but he's also the managing owner of the very talented Penny Black in Ollie County. Ollie, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mort. Hey, Rads. Good to be on. Yeah, really excited to see how she stacks up against a few of the better mares in upcoming starts. So all reports are that she's come back exceptionally well and should be even better than last time in. So all things are positive at this stage.
Well, now, do you think you're a bit stiff being in position 14?
Let loose, Ollie.
She was so good last time in, and the only race that she lost in the end there was when she was taken on in a 35 lead time, and she only just got beaten. So I did think she was a bit stiff to be 14th. I thought there were probably a few horses in there that she should have been ahead of, but it looks like at this stage she'll still get a start, which is the main thing.
Yeah, we've got a couple of weeks to make sure you improve your position.
Yes, we don't need to name names, but you obviously you think you should be in the 12, and we agree.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Anyway, all right. Now, big weekend of country racing. We've got Northam on Saturday night. They've got 8 races. The first at 5:38 on Saturday night. And then Sunday, we move to Collie. There's 7 races at Collie. The first at 1:20, and Albion Park. We're going to have a look at that. There's 9 races at Albion Park as well, and we'll get a couple of tips there. But before we do, Ollie, have you had a look at the WA Derby? What's your thoughts? What's your on-top selection for the WA Derby?
Gee, the draw there really threw a spanner in the works, didn't it? I think most people, rightfully heading into it, probably said Christopher Dance going to be exceptionally hard to beat, and if he draws the lead, he'll nearly be a good thing. But he's drawn gate 9, so really that's changed things up completely. I think Vegas Strip will be hard to beat out in front, leading. He's got good gate speed, and I guess the Bond team will probably send Christopher Dance back and let Vegas Strip have his chance in front, because if they do come out looking out wide, Gary Hall Sr. said today, I saw in an article that if they do that, then they'll be kicking up with Ultra Tribute in between and trying to force their way to the top. So it could be a very tough trip for Christopher Dance there. And the one that I was really keen on at odds is Golden Load. I thought he was absolutely outstanding 2 starts back. One of the better runs I've probably seen this whole year. He was just incredible. He beat Ultra Tribute there, but he came from near last and had absolutely no luck in the race and was just incredible to the eye. And the times on the clock back that up too. So I think Golden Load, if there's a bit of speed on, he'll be a really good knockout hope there. And you can't really go too wrong when he's about $15 or $16 at the moment.
Yeah, exactly $19 and $4.80 on Tab Touch Golden Load. And I tell you what, the whole of the back line have got great place claims, all 3 of them. And M. Shah, who's going to probably be behind the leader. Then you come along, probably 3 Peaks and Golden Load, who, as you said, has got that great turn of speed. So the back line, I think, as far as place betting goes, if you like one of them, the value's there.
Could easily be one of those races where they do go really, really hard, and it sets up for something at decent odds to potentially knock them all off. So, which is fantastic for the race. It really does look a race where there's plenty of winning chances and a really even field. So, it should be exciting.
All right, let's get to what we got you on the show for, and that's to find us a couple of winners at the Provincials and Country. And we start on Saturday at Northam. As I said, there is 8 races, the first at 5:38. What do you got for us?
In the second race at Northam, we're going to kick things off. In this race, Amaretto Angel, I was really keen on her chances last start, and she was able to work her way to the top in the early stages pretty comfortably, and then just was going a bit slow in front, and something came around and caught the driver off guard, which can happen to the best of drivers there. So in the end was just falling short of winning there, beaten 0.2 metres, so not far away at all, but probably getting crossed in the middle of the race was the result changer there. And I think Amaretto Angel looks the potential leader in this race, and it doesn't look any tougher to my eye. So I think she can lead, and she can lead for a long way and be really hard to catch. Mania was a good run on Tuesday, I thought, as well, but she's got an awkward draw here and will likely get a long way back. So I'm hoping Amaretto Angel can get onto the front and get away with a few cheap sectionals and hopefully be too good for them there. Then the next bet I've got for us at Northam was in race 4, and this one's actually probably going to be a pretty good price. Horse called Big Boz. I liked him in Queensland. He used to race in Queensland a little while ago now, and he was a reasonably smart young horse, and I thought he was a horse that could definitely improve in time and get better with age, but he hasn't really done that. He won one race in Queensland over the 2100 when he was parked out, and it was a fantastic run, and then he went to New South Wales and has since come to WA and hasn't really had much success, but he's had a few months off now and he finds himself in the Matt Scott stable. So potentially with the trainer change there and Shannon Savalco taking the reins, I think we could see a better version of Big Boz, and he could potentially be one that fills the mind of money at a decent price. So happy to be with him, although I do respect the returning local resident who I think will be pretty hard to beat in that race.
All right, so that's race 2, number 3, Amaretto Angel. And race 4, number 4, Big Boz, at a bit of a price. Currently $21 in the preemptive market on HRA. And then we go to Collie Sunday. 7 races, the first at $1.20. What do you got for us at Collie?
At Collie, one in race 5, I think this race could be Valhalla will likely go around a short price favourite. She led at Collie two runs ago and was too good for them in the end. And I think looks likely she will be doing the same here, which I think will give a fantastic run to Magic Bay. He wasn't at his best last start. He was beaten about 80 metres, I think, but they did run very quickly in that race. And the first couple home were the Boatstar, who's been in fantastic form, and Follow Rock and Roll, and then Mr. Macedon in third there. So they were pretty nice horses, and I think this looks a lot easier, this one, and Magic Bay looks likely to get that leader's back run. So if we could get a price where we can go 1 by 3 there, I think if Magic Bay is able to get out in the later stage of the race, we'll be flying home there, and that's the perfect setup for Magic Bay. It's just a really capable sit-sprint type horse. So around Collie, if that run appears, which often it doesn't, I think can be a knockout hope. And then in race 6, I'm going to go with one in this one, which I think will be reasonable value, a maiden, Maple Marie. This horse from the Mobile just absolutely walks out in the early stages. Doesn't seem to really have any gate speed at all, which has been to her detriment a few times, and gets to the stand start here. The one stand start trial, there's no vision of it, and it was quite a while ago. So that's definitely a decent query. But around the 2020 circuit here, it's going to be pretty hard for those back markers to get into it. And I think if Maple Marie can step away safely and sort of be in the first couple of runners, I think can run a decent race there at each way odds.
All right, that's race 6, number 1 at Maple Marie. The previous race number 5, is the Joe and Margaret Savalco Memorial. And as usual, a number of the Savalcos have got to drive. Shannon's driving Valhalla Miss, Aaron Savalco on Rambo Rabbit, Joe Savalco on Rockin' the Trend, and Emily Savalco on Suede. So good luck to the Savalcos in that race as well. All right, and Saturday night at Albion Park. Now, big news this week as well, or this morning, Ollie, that the 1 Over Crush Syndicate with Ryan Spice announced that Nathan Dawson, the leading Queensland driver or Albion Park driver, is their driver for the Ultimate Drivers Series, going up against Gary Hall Jr. for the Gloucester Park Gurus, which you're one of the gurus. We've also had Hollywood Hewitt announced the week before. We obviously know Yannick Gringas is coming over for Summit, and we've got Dexter Dunn coming over for Ladbroke. So 5 out of the 10 already named, and I think if Gary Hall Jr. was the worst kept secret, Nathan Dawson wasn't far behind him, Molly.
Definitely. I'm really excited for the series now. We've obviously got some high-quality drivers there. Nathan Dawson has been at the top of the tree the last few years in Queensland, and I think he'll be a real competitor in the series, and he's a fantastic driver. So I'm sure he'll do well there, and he might run a good second to Gary Hall Jr.
Well, Ryan gave us a bit of a drive-by on Gareth Saturday. He said as long as they beat the SEN driver, who hasn't been announced yet, he's in conjunction with Garrards, and the Gloucester Park Gurus, he'll be happy. Well,
yeah, I don't think we even have to worry about them too much. I know we'll definitely have their measure, so we might have to look for something else out wide that might knock us off.
What about the Big Cat? Imagine Big Cat and Ryan Spice going at each other.
I think it'll be pretty dirty if we're to lose them. So that'll be the main battle, and everything else, like the main winning prize, will come secondary. I'm sure the bragging rights are the main thing in this series.
Yeah, so it might be just worth the price of entry, just watching them two go at it and sledging. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic series like that, isn't it? Everyone we'll get to go there and sort of mingle, and there'll be some great battles waged off the track and on the track. So that part I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, really, it's in February next year, and looking forward. And a number of WA people have said to me they're actually going over watch the couple of days, which is really good. So, it should be a great action of the 10 of the best drivers in the world doing battle, and great to be part of it. Ollie, but what have you got for us at Albion Park on Saturday night?
On Saturday night in race 5, we've got the Garrard's Be Good Johnny Sprint, which is a listed race, and it's a fantastic field, a really even field. There's some really quality horses in this race. Turn It Up's been going around forever, and it's just been one of the great Queensland horses. And there's another couple of horses in this race four horses in this race which have actually broken 150 at Albion Park, and they're the only horses in history to have done that. So really, it's quite amazing to have them all in one race. Black Sedans, Jim RT, and Brados Lad as well has done it. So there's quite a few in this race that'll be vying it out, but I'm really keen to be with Was a Heat Seeker in this. He was exceptional last start. He was caught outside the leader in a 1:49 mile, which is really fast, and he battled away for third and was only beaten 7 metres, and he draws to advantage over the horse that beat him, Always Smoking, in that race. So I can't see Always Smoking beating him given the draw advantage. So I think Was a Heat Seeker will be pushing over, and with Always Smoking pushing up out wide, I'd expect Turn It Over to probably hand over to Was a Heat Seeker and take the sit, and from there I can just see Was a Heat Seeker being exceptionally hard to beat. The current favourite at the moment is Jim RT, but I just can't see that horse getting into the race. It'll either go forward and be 3 wide, or it'll go back to near last. So I think he is also first up, no trial. So there's a few queries to suggest that the $3 or $4 quote now will probably get a bit bigger closer to jump time. The horse at odds I'm happy to keep safe and have something on is Targaryen, and I suspect he could be three back the pegs in this race, and if he is to get clear in the later stages, he has a brilliant finishing burst, so he could potentially be the one at big odds to knock them off if they go a little bit too hard.
All right, Was a Heat Seeker for Nathan Dawson is $5.50 with Tab Touch, and Targaryen is at currently $16 on Tab Touch. Have you got anything else for us at Albion Park?
In race 6 is another feature race. It's 52 grand Peak of the Creek final, which I always think this is a fantastic series every year. They have 4 heats on a Tuesday, and the quickest times get to choose their barrier in the final, and the quickest qualifier was Better Than Popsy, and he's the one I'm keen to be with in this race on a 1x3 basis. I think he was a super winner in the heat. He worked away from the inside, and he came down the outside and blew them out at decent odds in that race, and he will likely get crossed in the early stages in this race by Attachment, who's a brilliant winner. It was a brilliant winner on Tuesday, and he's got exceptional speed, that horse. But I think Better Than Popsy can just get that fantastic run in behind that horse, and he's one of the higher rated horses in the race. He's a 70 rater, and I think he's the second or third highest rater in the race. So he's classy enough to take this out, and I think with the perfect run, he'll be right there in the finish. So 1x3, Better Than Popsy is a good way to play that race, I think.
Currently $4.60 with Tab Touch drawn the pole. And yeah, as you said, a really good night's racing at Albion Park, and highlighted, as you said, the race before, the Peak of the Creek, but also the Be Good Johnny, and what a great horse he was. Dual Miracle Mile winner for the great Johnny McCarthy and Narelle.
I was going to say John McCarthy, yeah.
Great man. What a great horse he was. 2 Miracle Miles, as well as a host of other great races as well. Ollie, is that us? Have we wrapped up?
That's us for tonight.
Good on you, mate. Thank you for your help. Good luck over the weekend, and we'll listen to you on Monday morning from 9:30 on Tab Radio with Off and Pacing.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it.
Good on you. Ollie, one of the Gosler Park gurus. Ollie
Yes,
Cownie.
he is.
A guru.
Very, very good form. Now, Michael, Trots in. How are we going there? We've got the beautiful...
the American Ideal Cooper's Beach. We sold a couple this week.
I'm not surprised. So
Peter and Neil bought a share. Our man.
In the American Ideal. So Mickey's Beach, who was a very good winner at Pinjarra, is out of Cooper's Beach as well. So
And the reports, as we said, are broken in. There's only about I think 2 or 3 shares left in him, and they're going like hotcakes. And the filly, Always Be Mickey out of no less than perfect, and we know how good Always Be Mickeys are at the moment.
Yes, and she looks. I was down there and saw her a couple of weeks ago. She looks outstanding.
So
but the
a
colt,
couple of shares,
fantastic. I would imagine they will go on the next
2.5% shares. If you want to get in touch with us, because I'll tell you what, the
they'll go on
reports
the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the reports are very good
Yep.
from the camp about how they're progressing, and both will be aimed at the Sales Classic, and both in ownership with Glen Mortimer and Ross Fitzgerald.
The new committee man.
Yeah, the new committee
man.
But he is the luckiest man on earth.
That he certainly is.
If you're going to race a horse,
make sure R. Fitzgerald is in the ownership papers. Yeah. That's for sure. Now, what else have I got for you, Mark?
It's a big show, mate.
It was a big show. Big
brain
podcast by the young fella over there, Molly O'Hare. What is she? The first WA AFLW draftee. Is that it?
Top prospect.
Top prospect. There we go. Anyway, it was good. So get on and have a listen. Bray and Ethan, Centre Square, always a good listen. I know you listen, Michael.
Yes, I'm very interested in draft prospects for the AFL.
I would have thought that you were, but good weekend of racing coming up, and kicks on all the way through to Monday, the Pinjarra Classic. So it's just all... And then the Pacing Cup.
Pacing Cup. Now, barrier draw, because it's Melbourne Cup week, it's hard to get on. We got to do the barrier draw live on TAB Radio, on the breakfast show, the Big Breakfast, Big Sports Breakfast. At Monday, I think about 8:30. Tune in from 8:30.
You're going to have to change that appointment I've got. It's definitely gone, because we've got to be there for the all-important barrier draw. We know how important that's going to be.
Tim Digby, the team will be in there.
Excellent.
And, the barrier draw for the Pacing Cup. Monday. All important.
And don't forget Kyle Symington on the Retrovision Gloucester Park preview. Some great chances. I think he's a nice chance on Swing Band tomorrow night too.
And nothing to say Wave Rider can't.
Correct.
With the right road couldn't win the
So he's
derby.
got some really good chances. So have a listen.
And congratulations on him being named the WA representative.
Yeah, he's done so well.
Yep.
Done a really good job. We're so lucky with some of the young talent we have here.
Oh, and Denny and Emily went over and won. Denny won the lady drivers in Tasmania, and Emily was the other representative and did a great job.
Great job, yeah.
Finished 4th or something like that, and it all comes down to like those drivers' championships. So, it was great to see WA win.
Certainly was. Well, I think
is that us?
Yeah. And once again, if you're listening to this,
good on you, Eddie.
You need some help.
Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to Bondi. He was great to chat to.
He certainly was. And just by the way, Michael, for those people that did stick around last week, they were treated to 5 winners.
Yes.
From Ollie out of 6
That's
and
right.
a place bet. So we got 6 out of 6. So it pays to listen all the way to the end.
Stays to stick solid with
Absolutely.
our loyal listeners. As I said, there's not many of them.
No.
They're real solid, though.
They certainly are. They are what we call rusted on.
Indeed, they are.
Yep.
All right, thanks to Bomber. Thanks to Ollie. Thanks to Bray for pushing all the buttons. Morts, thanks to you. Good luck
Thank you,
tomorrow
Michael.
night.
Thank
You've got
you.
runners in. You got runner in the Derby.
Got a runner in the Derby. He's never been that lucky with draws, but I've got to tell you, he's certainly not the worst place chance in the race. And the good thing is he's in the race, and over 2,500 metres, a lot can happen.
Now, good luck on Monday on 2 counts, the WA Pacing Cup barrier draw.
Yes.
And Rolling Fire in the 4-year-old Classic at Pinjarra.
Yeah, drawn a bit awkward in barrier 11, but he'll be a lot fitter for the run, and, of course, he'll be better suited at Pinjarra than Gloucester Park, I think. And then we've got the barrier draw. So if I could just have number 10 now, that'd be great. Thank you.
10, 11?
Yeah, be great. But yeah.
Now, will Jack be coming back to drive it?
Tricky Mickey, that's certainly the plan, absolutely, yes. Yeah, it was great to get him across to get a feel for how the horse goes. And unfortunately, it was one of those races where you couldn't do much because they were sprinting so hard the last lap.
Once they settled down, there was no attackers, and that was the way it was. Yeah.
But no, look at just having Jack here adds another dimension, having Captain Ravishing here as well, so bring it on.
Yep. All right. Thanks to everyone for your help. Thanks for listening. If you're stuck on Eddie, special mention to you. We know you're still there. Thanks for your time. Hope we found you a few winners. Until next week, it's bye for now.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.